Exodus. Chapter 16. And they journeyed from Elim, and all the assembly of the children of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the 2nd month after their departure out of the land of Egypt. And the whole assembly of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said to them, If only we had died by the hand of Jehovah in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the fleshpots, when we ate bread to the full, for you have brought us out into this wilderness to kill this whole congregation with hunger. Then Jehovah said to Moses, I will now rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a day's portion every day, that I may test them, whether or not they will walk in my law. And on the 6th day when they prepare what they bring in, it will be twice as much as they gather daily. So Moses and Aaron said to all the children of Israel, In the evening you will know that Jehovah has brought you out from the land of Egypt. And in the morning you will see the glory of Jehovah, for he hears your murmurings against Jehovah. And what are we, that you murmur against us? And Moses said, This you will see when Jehovah gives you flesh to eat in the evening, and bread to the full in the morning, for Jehovah hears your murmurings which you murmur against him. And what are we? Your murmurings are not against us but against Jehovah. And Moses said to Aaron, Say to all the assembly of the children of Israel, Come near before Jehovah, for he has heard your murmurings. And as Aaron spoke to the whole assembly of the children of Israel, they looked toward the wilderness, and there the glory of Jehovah appeared in the cloud. And Jehovah spoke to Moses, saying, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Speak to them, saying, At twilight you will eat flesh, and in the morning you will be filled with bread, and you shall know that I am Jehovah your God. And at evening quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning there was a layer of dew around the camp. And when the layer of dew lifted, there upon the surface of the wilderness were fine round flakes, fine as the frost on the earth. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said to one another, What is it? For they did not know what it was. And Moses said to them, It is the bread which Jehovah has given you to eat. This is what Jehovah has commanded, gather of it, each one according to his eating, you shall take an omer a head, according to the number of your persons, each one for those who are in his tent. And the children of Israel did so, and some gathered much, and some little. And when they measured it with an omer, he who gathered much had no excess, and he who gathered little had no lack, each of them gathered according to his eating. And Moses said to them, Let no man leave any of it until the morning. But they did not listen to Moses, and some men left part of it until the morning, and it bred worms and stank. And Moses was indignant with them. And they gathered it morning by morning, each one according to his eating, and when the sun became hot, it melted. And on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for each one, and all the leaders of the assembly came and told Moses. And he said to them, This is what Jehovah has spoken, tomorrow is a Sabbath of complete rest, a holy Sabbath to Jehovah. Bake what you will bake, and boil what you will boil, and all that is left over put aside for yourselves to be kept until the morning. And they put it aside until the morning, as Moses commanded, and it did not stink, nor was there any worm in it. And Moses said, Eat it today, for today is a Sabbath to Jehovah, today you will not find it in the field. 6 days you shall gather it, but on the 7th day is the Sabbath, on it there will be none. And on the 7th day some of the people went out to gather, and they found none. And Jehovah said to Moses, How long do you refuse to keep my commandments and my laws? See, Jehovah has given you the Sabbath, therefore he gives you bread for 2 days on the 6th day. Let each of you stay in his place, let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day. And the house of Israel called its name manna, and it was like coriander seed, white, and its taste was like wafers made with honey. And Moses said, "This is what Jehovah has commanded, let an omerful of it be kept throughout your generations, that they may see the bread which I fed you in the wilderness, when I brought you out from the land of Egypt." And Moses said to Aaron, "Take a pot, and put an omerful of manna in it, and place it before Jehovah, to be kept throughout your generations." As Jehovah commanded Moses, so Aaron placed it before the testimony to be kept. And the children of Israel ate the manna 40 years, until they came to inhabitable land. They ate the manna until they came to the border of the land of Canaan. Now an omer is a tenth of an ephah. Exodus chapter 17. And all the assembly of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of Sin by their stages according to the command of Jehovah, and encamped in Rephidim, and there was no water for the people to drink. Therefore the people contended with Moses and said, "Give us water that we may drink." And Moses said to them, "Why are you contending with me? Why do you test Jehovah?" So the people thirsted there for water, and the people murmured against Moses and said, "For what reason did you bring us up out of Egypt, to kill us and our children and our livestock with thirst?" So Moses cried out to Jehovah, saying, "What shall I do with this people? A little more, and they will stone me." And Jehovah said to Moses, "Pass on before the people, and take with you some of the elders of Israel, and take in your hand your staff with which you struck the river, and go. I will be standing before you there upon the rock in Horeb, and you shall strike the rock, and water will come out of it so that the people may drink." And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. And he called the name of the place Massah and Meribah, because of the contention of the children of Israel and because they tested Jehovah, saying, "Is Jehovah among us or not?" Then Amalek came and fought with Israel in Rephidim. And Moses said to Joshua, "Choose men for us, and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the staff of God in my hand." So Joshua did as Moses had said to him and fought with Amalek, and Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And when Moses lifted his hand up, Israel prevailed, and when he let his hand down, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands were heavy, so they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it, and Aaron and Hur supported his hands, one on one side and one on the other side. So his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. And Joshua defeated Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And Jehovah said to Moses, "Write this as a memorial in a book and recite it to Joshua, that I will utterly blot out the memory of Amalek from under heaven." And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah Nissi. For he said, "For there is a hand against the throne of Jah. Jehovah will have war with Amalek from generation to generation." Exodus chapter 18. Now Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that God had done for Moses and for Israel his people, how Jehovah had brought Israel out of Egypt. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, had taken Moses' wife Zipporah, after he had sent her away. And her 2 sons, of whom the name of one was Gershom, for Moses said, "I have been a sojourner in a foreign land." And the name of the other was Eleazar, for he said, "The God of my father was my help and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh." So Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife to Moses in the wilderness where he was encamped, at the mount of God. And he sent word to Moses, "I, your father-in-law Jethro, am coming to you with your wife and her 2 sons with her." So Moses went out to meet his father-in-law and bowed down and kissed him, and each asked the other's welfare, and they came into the tent. And Moses told his father-in-law all that Jehovah had done to Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake, all the hardship that had come upon them on the way, and how Jehovah delivered them. And Jethro rejoiced for all the good which Jehovah had done to Israel, in that he had delivered them out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Jethro said, Blessed be Jehovah, who has delivered you from the hand of the Egyptians and from the hand of Pharaoh, who has delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know that Jehovah is greater than all gods. Indeed, it was proven when they dealt proudly against the people. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and sacrifices for God, and Aaron came with all the elders of Israel to eat food with Moses' father-in-law before God. And on the following day Moses sat to judge the people, and the people stood around Moses from the morning to the evening. And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he was doing for the people, he said, What is this thing that you are doing for the people? Why do you sit by yourself, and all the people stand around you from morning to evening? Then Moses said to his father-in-law, Because the people come to me to inquire of God. When they have a dispute, the matter comes to me, and I judge between a man and his neighbor, and I make known the statutes of God and his laws. And Moses' father-in-law said to him, The thing that you are doing is not good. You will surely wear yourself out, both you and this people who are with you, for the thing is too heavy for you, you cannot do it by yourself. Listen now to my voice, I will give you counsel, and God be with you. You stand for the people before God, and you bring the matters to God. And you shall teach them the statutes and the laws, and make known to them the way in which they should walk and the work that they should do. You also should look for able men among all the people who fear God, men of truth, who hate unjust gain, and place them over them, as leaders of thousands, leaders of hundreds, leaders of 50s, and leaders of 10s. And let them judge the people at all times, and let them bring every great matter to you, but every small matter let them judge themselves. So it will be easier for you, and they will bear the burden with you. If you do this thing, and God so commands you, then you will be able to endure, and all these people also will go to their place in peace. So Moses listened to the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he had said. And Moses chose able men out of all Israel and made them heads over the people, leaders of thousands, leaders of hundreds, leaders of 50s, and leaders of 10s. And they judged the people at all times, the hard cases they brought to Moses, but every small matter they judged themselves. And Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way to his own land.